What up, YouTube? YouTube. It says it's recording on my screen at least. I don't know about you, but I'm Tristan Harris. You can find me
Wait,
on
wait.
Twitter
Okay, wait. We are not recording for
Okay.
Spotify yet, though. So,
So we're still live on the YouTube.
yeah, but we are live on YouTube, yes.
How dare you stop me?
Got
How
it.
dare you stop me?
All right, let's get it. Yo, welcome back to another great episode of Across the Plane. Guess who's back, y'all? Guess who's back? Oh, actually, it'd be
He's
this
back.
way. Guess who's back? That's right. But first, before we get to him, I am one of your three hosts tonight, Marcel, aka @Styles_Rap This Life. You know how it is. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Amen. Amen. Bears offense looking kind of okay, man. I don't know what y'all been watching. So, I've been talking about it a little bit. And also, I've been talking to Timberwolves as they're back too. But yeah, make sure you give me a follow on both my socials. And if you're watching on YouTube, he's going to be on my left.
And me?
No, it's actually the guy who's back. Welcome back.
Okay, because I'm on your right. And if I was sitting in your position, I'd be on the right.
So, yeah.
In the Zoom. I'm Tristan Harris, man. You can find me on Twitter @Trinity_19. Come talk some Vikings football, man. I'm back. School's been a grind. We're done with Monday night classes, so we're back. Feels good, man. Vikings are 6-1. Wolves basketball's back. Feels good, man.
Yeah, and shout out to the Vikings. This is Jake the rookie, THA like across the plane. Welcome back, everybody. Kirk's chain hanging low.
Low.
Who knew all we needed for Kirk Cousins to be a beast was him to put on a chain,
yeah, Vikings are currently 6-1. We will talk about them. Last time we had a show, we talked strictly NBA. It was our NBA prediction show. So a lot has happened in the NFL since we last talked about the NFL. Two things important of note when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL. Two quarterbacks have been sent. Well, both of them got injured. One of them is being benched while also being injured. Carson Wentz in Washington, and where Carson Wentz's former team, the Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan, are both injured. Matt Ryan is being benched. He is done for the rest of the year. Carson Wentz, well, I think he will be done for the rest of the year. That's just my opinion. But kind of just quickly talk about those two quarterback situations. We'll start with Carson Wentz and the Washington Commanders. Carson Wentz broke a finger against the Chicago Bears. That game was, I believe, now 3 weeks ago. Anyone that remembers him playing that game, he did not play well at all. Bears just made a lot of mistakes and basically gave the game to Washington. But Carson Wentz was not good in that game at all, even before the injury. Now he's injured. Now Taylor Heineke, who just seems like every time he comes in, kind of saves Washington's season. He is now behind the wheel at quarterback, and they are 2-0 with him behind the wheel at quarterback, beating the Packers and the Colts this week. So I guess my question for y'all is, are we going to see – actually, it's two questions. Will we see Carson Wentz play for the Commanders again? If the answer is no, will we see Carson Wentz start an NFL game ever again?
I think he's going to be done. I don't think he'll be starting in the league. I think he'll get a backup job somewhere. But I think Taylor Heineke keeps them competitive enough, as he's shown. I believe he has a winning record with them in his short period of time there, but he just makes winning plays, and Carson just hasn't been able to do that. And do I think this is what Washington's needed? No. They need a quarterback, but Taylor Heineke isn't certainly the guy, but he's enough to keep them afloat.
It's a spark, though, right?
Yeah, it's something more.
Yeah, I agree. It's a spark.
Taylor Heineke is 9-9 all time as a starter.
Perfect. It's all time, all with Washington.
Yep. Oh no. He started one game for Carolina in 2018 and lost. So he's 9-8 in his Washington career.
I think
exactly.
I think Wentz will be back. I do. They're not gonna give up on him all the way. I think he is hurt. But Heineke's been exciting. He covers the spread.
Hmm.
Always bet on Heineke.
Um, I I don't know, man. It just seems Washington does not believe in Taylor Heineke. That's clear because they will not commit to him long term to be a starting quarterback. But it just seems like every time Washington tries to find another solution at quarterback, it doesn't work, and they go back to him, and they just seem so much better with him than with whatever quarterback option they try. So I don't believe Heineke is still going to be the long term answer there, but I just don't know if we're going to see Wentz again. I think this team just feels more uplifted when Heineke's back there at quarterback over Carson Wentz. Um, does he play again in the NFL? I don't know, man. It's hard to go from being a regular starter to being a backup. Last three, before this season, last 2 seasons, teams gave up on him. And I mean, if a third one gives up on you, that probably means something about you.
And we saw Nick Foles travel around and then messed around and won a Super Bowl in a spot start. I think there's a place for him in the NFL. There's always going to be a place for dudes like of Carson Wentz's value. Those Brad Johnsons, those Gus Frerots,
Man, I don't know. Carson Wentz is just much better than those guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like those journeyman guys.
But the biggest thing is, I learned this, kind of during the whole Colin Kaepernick thing when I couldn't figure out why Colin Kaepernick couldn't get a job. It's just so different to be a backup quarterback. Like a lot of starting quarterbacks are not cut out for. Cam Newton struggled as a backup. He, that's just not the kind of guy he is. He either needs to start or he's going to have a job. Right. It's totally different, man. You're game planning every day differently. You're just sitting on the sideline. You're basically an extra coach when you're the backup quarterback, as long as the starting quarterback's healthy. And
you like to check. That's really the question.
I mean, a guy like Chase Daniel loves to check.
Yeah, but he never got a big check like Wentz. Wentz got a big check.
Yeah.
When you get a big check like that, and maybe you don't need to play anymore. So I agree. Maybe he's not destined for backup quarterback, but I feel like he's good enough to definitely be he's one of those cuss quarterbacks. That's what I call him. He's like on a fringe starter, good backup,
Yeah, like Mr. Trubisky. He's probably just slightly better than Mr. Trubisky.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Now this guy.
Yeah, moving on to the other quarterback. This guy was injured and benched. Matt Ryan, Colts tenure appears to already come to, at least as a starter, has come to an end. I think he's
done.
Man, that would be the third year in a row. Actually, fourth year in a row. Fifth year in a row, actually, because I believe they're now Andrew Luck, Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, and Matt Ryan. So this would be the fifth year in a row that their quarterback was probably not going to play 2 seasons.
And Phillip Rivers, yeah.
Right. I'm not sure why the Colts are just so set on going the veteran route. I don't know why they won't draft the rookie.
They're scared. They're scared.
It really just doesn't make sense for me because I don't think they're really close to being a Super Bowl contending team. Maybe a couple years ago, around that Phillip Rivers time, they were pretty close. Right now, it just doesn't appear they're very close. Their O-line is not very good. Their defense is okay. They look like they really miss Matt Eberflus though.
Maybe this is the year they do, and maybe they get what's his name from Ohio State.
I mean, is the Andrew Luck thing scare you that bad? I think that's just a once in an anomaly kind of thing, man. Not every quarterback you draft that's going to be that talented is going to walk away at 30 years old.
There's probably a reason he walked away, though. It probably has to do with
ownership.
Yeah, the Colts.
That relationship with the Colts.
So it's it might not be a great organization, but I don't know. I think what's his name is one of those other guys who's going to be one of these cuss quarterbacks. I think he's got an arm.
Sam Ellinger.
Yeah.
Sam Ellinger. I didn't know anything about him. I thought they were gonna go with
from the very few stuff I watched.
I'm guessing Jacob Eason's not there anymore. No, he's in Seattle, or at least he was in Seattle.
He's not in Indianapolis.
I thought they drafted another quarterback super late. Maybe it was Sam Ellinger I was thinking of, but
I think that's who they drafted was Ellinger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's not bad.
He's definitely more mobile than
Matt Ryan.
And he
I
can
don't
chuck
know.
the ball deep. Like
Yeah,
Matt Ryan could not throw the ball deep.
I guarantee you, Matt Ryan's a coach somewhere in a year or two.
Man, I just feel for the Colts, man. He didn't throw a single touchdown this week, but he didn't throw a pick
Dang.
either. So
No.
Mid.
And he had some good throws. He
yeah,
had some good throws, but he had some hold the ball too long moments.
you gotta think Frank Wright and maybe Chris Ballard are probably both on the hot seat. You can't fumble the quarterback position this many times. I think you keep your job.
hmm
Either one of them.
I don't know who's on the market next year.
They should draft one, man.
They're not gonna draft one.
even if they trade
Who's
up.
on the market next year?
You know who's actually in the market next year? That dude we're going to talk about next up in Seattle. Oh wait, I miss New York football. But
Oh,
Geno
yeah.
Smith will be a free agent next year. He's playing himself into a good contract this offseason.
Yeah, we'll talk
Sorry,
about
skip
Seattle.
football.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in Indianapolis. Over in New York. So I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple weeks, and it's just unfortunate when we do finally record to talk about them, they both lose. And but the New York football teams, man, the Giants and the Jets are both playing well this season. Now, I could argue, actually, no, I won't argue for one of them. I would argue the Jets are playing well in spite of their quarterback. And I would say the Giants are playing well, utilizing an average quarterback, and they're utilizing very well, utilizing his legs. Riding the ball was a great hire. I figured that was going to happen.
They're doing a great job of utilizing a lot of nothing, really.
Yeah.
In New York football Giants.
Yeah, that team is not that talented. Like they have
just
Zach Wilson's a bum. Get him out of here.
Well, it's funny because everyone but the Jets knew that going into the draft that Trevor Lawrence and
that defense has potential.
Yeah, the defense is pretty good.
Get a quarterback. Yeah, get a quarterback. Fix that team. And it's not Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
Zach
that's
Wilson,
another.
I don't know if he's it.
Yeah, man.
No, he's definitely not it. Joe Flacco is arguably a safer option.
Man, they took him number 2 overall. That would be the second time taking a quarterback number 2 overall, and they just whiff it.
Well, they whiffed it,
Yeah, they whiff it. They whiffed it really.
Yeah, I'm curious to say Zach Wilson. It's gonna be interesting to see. But yeah, the Giants, man. I think both these teams are definitely two of the most surprising teams, and then the one we're gonna talk about next is also actually the next two we might talk about are pretty up there. So do both New York teams make the playoffs? Yes or no?
No.
No. There's just too much. There's better talent in front of both of them in both conferences.
I don't think either. I don't think either.
You don't think either are making the playoffs?
No.
I don't think either making the playoffs.
Wow. NFC is garbage, man. I think the Giants can get in.
No.
And as a wild
Cowboys are going to have a better record than them. Eagles going to have a better record than them.
Yeah.
There's no way they get in as a third wild card. No way.
Because the Rams.
It's going to be in the West. It's going to be in the West. Cowboys are going to get in as one, and it's going to be from the West. And then Packers are going to make a late season push.
Mm-hmm. Wow, man, you believe in Green Bay? Oh, man.
Oh, man, they look
we'll talk about this.
They do look bad. They do look bad. But I'm not counting them out yet.
I would say the Giants have a much better chance than the Jets do. But man, y'all think neither get it? I
think 3
really
from the West is more likely than 3 from the East, and I think the Cowboys are better than the Giants.
I gotta see more from the Rams.
And
Rams
even then,
super mids.
Marcel, because the Commanders are a better all around team than the Giants right now. The difference is the Giants have a serviceable quarterback.
No, the Giants do not have a quarterback.
The Giants
problem is their quarterback.
The Giants might have the second best coach in the division right now.
The coach is fine. They create turnovers. They're exciting. Saquon Barkley is the best running back right now. But I mean, I'm not a Daniel Jones believer. Like people think he's just mids enough to get him on the cusp of a wild card. They're gonna be in contention. I don't think they're gonna make it though.
Man,
I will say this, Marcel. If they're gonna,
He's
I think
bad.
they're gonna be in contention. I do think I've kind of been telling this to you off camera for the last couple of weeks now that what Brian Dable did to Josh Allen in 3 years in Buffalo is what I'm expecting them to try to do with Daniel Jones. And he already looks better than he was last year, and that's a low bar.
easily.
But still, there's progress being made. However, he's still got a long way to go. Their roster is very bad. And in terms of the NFC, yes, it's wide open, but there's simply better built rosters in the NFC. The Rams are better built. The Niners are better built. The Bucks are better built. They just can't figure it out.
Man, those teams are mids right now, though.
I know.
Like
Mids in
No,
November.
yeah. No, the Bucks suck.
Yeah,
Bucks.
that team is a whole. Those teams are a whole bunch of mids right now. That's why I think the Giants. Now I agree. The Giants are going to have to.
I like the Jets better.
I think the Jets
The
roster.
AFC is too
The Jets
stacked.
roster is better, but man,
I like the Jets
quarterback
defense.
might be worse. And be worse than
Quarterback's
Daniel. Then be worse than.
Oh yeah,
Jones.
quarterback's way worse. Zach
Way
Wilson is bad.
Man, that guy is just. Anyway,
Yeah.
You know who's not been bad?
Seattle Seahawks are on top of the NFC West right now, just like everyone predicted, man. Just like we all saw it. I was kind of. I'm not gonna say slightly concerned because I predicted this team to be bad, but like, I feel like I'm higher on Pete Carroll than a lot of other people. But man, that dude, he is such a good coach, man. Like
I hate him, but he's a good coach.
He just gets the most out of his guys.
He's really shown his chops, especially the way that the Russell relationship ended last season.
But I don't know. Gino's been playing good. Impressive.
Yeah,
they said he was the worst starting quarterback preseason. I remember they graded him in his own tier by himself as the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And he is definitely above some guys.
He's definitely not the worst. He's definitely not the worst. That is for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, man. You gotta give it up for Seattle. Seattle currently has the most points among all the teams in that division right now, too.
Shout out Kenneth Walker.
Are they gonna win the division, man? Are they gonna win?
Hell no.
No, you say
depends on how healthy DK and Tyler Lockett can stay.
Well, they already lost to San Francisco.
San Francisco's gonna win that division.
I agree with you because the Rams just don't know how to beat that team, no matter what they do. I agree with you. I think the 49ers are going to win it. But it would just be absolutely insane. I would not be surprised if Seattle finishes above the Rams.
I would not be surprised either.
The Rams
look bad.
I'd be pretty 49ers, man. They play so up and down. For some reason they play so much better against good competition than bad ones. Except for Kansas City, they can't beat Kansas City.
They suffer from play up tier competition syndrome.
But I mean, they're 4-4. Seattle's 5-3. Rams are 3-4. I mean, even the Cardinals are only 2 games out. And I think they just have a bunch of divisional games against each other left to play.
They're about to fire their head coach.
I don't think they are. I think they're gonna roll through the year with it. I know Tresna, you were just anti Cliff Kingsbury, and you might be right. He probably is just a whole bunch of cheeks. I just think they're gonna finish the year with them.
I think they'll fire him.
They'll finish the year with him.
Vance Joseph will take over, and they'll look significantly more just composed and well-rounded as a team, which will help them a lot in the long run. Just because Vance Joseph has been a head coach before in the NFL.
Yeah, but
never mind.
Does Seattle get a wild card spot?
No. Man. I'm telling you, all these records are fluky right now.
Fluky.
Just like the NBA.
They're in the NFC, man. It's just a whole lot of mids, man. There's the Vikings and Eagles, and then just a bunch of mids after that.
A bunch of mids.
Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of mids, down in the NFC South here, we have our division leading Atlanta Falcons, man. Where is Will when you need him?
Where is Will right now?
Will
Exactly.
was pretty high on this team at the beginning of the year, and man, he might be right. He might be right. Now, I will say this: I still think Tampa Bay did lose to Carolina a couple weeks ago, but I still think Tampa Bay is just gonna like wreck every team in this division for the most part.
I'll figure it out.
They've already beaten Atlanta and New Orleans once. They did lose to Carolina, but I mean, I think they are gonna just swing enough wins together to still win the NFC South. It's gonna be bad though. It's gonna be like 9-8, maybe even 8-9, and it's just gonna be
Classic.
and it's gonna look super miz, and it's gonna look like the classic NFC South. Just from they had a 7-9 winner not too long ago with the Carolina Panthers. I think we're gonna get.
Do they get their next win against the Rams next week? Or do they have to wait for the Seahawks or the Browns or the Saints or the Niners?
I think they beat the Browns and Saints.
They could lose the next 4 games, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I think they could lose to the Rams and Seattle, honestly. That's how bad they look. Their offense
bad.
just look pedestrian at best. And their defense is just taking a hit on injuries right now. Devin White has fallen off.
They need to get it going on the ground. This is the thing I'm thinking with Green Bay too. This is my problem with them, as they're trying to play hero ball with the quarterback when they don't need to, when they could just game plan and just run the ball. They have a good running game.
Well, Tampa has like one of the worst rushing seasons in NFL history. Actually, I just watched a video on this.
I feel like Tampa Bay has more weapons at their disposal. Aaron Rodgers has absolutely nothing. Like Christian Watson just got hurt.
But that's what's weird. So Tom Brady has taken a step back. Well, that's something we have to admit. Now, to be fair, Tom Brady taking a step back is still a really good quarterback. He hasn't taken he didn't take the Peyton Manning fall off in his final season, or even the Brett Favre one. This is definitely, I'm not the Tom Brady, but I'm still Tom Brady kind of.
This is the Drew Brees fall off.
No, I don't even think it's that. But I do think Tom is just really distracted. This is probably the most distracted he's ever been going into a season, with the family, and unfortunate him and Gazelle getting a divorce. So wish the best for the family there. But this is probably the most distracted he's ever been in an NFL, going into an NFL season. I guess he wasn't doing Masked Singer, so that's disappointing. But with him being Tom Brady and kind of being underestimated, man, I still think, and being in a really, really bad division, I still think they can come out on top, just even by going 500, playing 500 ball.
They'll find a way.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, they'll probably find a way to get back in the division.
There's a reason he's on the Bucks.
Yeah, and Atlanta
it's because that division
that third place.
And
it's also, gonna be.
And Todd Bowles isn't a good coach. They miss Bruce Arians like pretty bad too. That was a big loss for them. That's probably their biggest loss, honestly.
Yeah, but that division stinks. And Tom Brady's still the best quarterback at 47 years old. So it don't even matter. The division's garbage. He's gonna pull it out. Tampa Bay.
Speaking of garbage divisions, the NFC North, it definitely has a runaway favorite right now. But I quickly want to, before we talk about our 2 favorite teams to talk about, I quickly want to talk about the team we hate, that we both can mutually agree we hate the most. The Green Bay Packers, man, they stink. They stink.
Coach sucks.
Their 3 wins this year are against the Bears on Sunday night, which they in Green Bay, which they always win.
Good job.
And I mean, they did not look good in the second half of that game.
See, as a Bears fan, he's just like, you know what, fuck, you guys were supposed to win.
Yeah,
you didn't even look good doing it.
Yeah, they didn't impress me. The Bears just looked worse. Green Bay didn't even look good in that game. They won that. They barely beat Bailey Zappi in overtime.
They lost to Zach Wilson at home.
Lost to the Vikings.
Who was their third? I can't remember who their third win was.
Detroit?
I don't think they played Detroit yet.
Oh, was it in London recently?
No, they
No,
lost
they
to the
lost
Giants.
the
They
Giants
lost
in
that
London.
game.
The Jags.
They
lost
beat
the
the
Giants.
Buccaneers. They beat the
Bucks,
Buccaneers. That's
yeah.
right, and they barely won that game. They were Tom Brady 2-point conversion away from them going to overtime in that game. That team just has not looked impressive. One, they're just not utilizing the run game very well. It just like
You said,
Jake
Jake.
said, yeah, like Jake said, man, it just looks like running game will be working well, and then and then they'll try to do an Aaron
They'll
Rodgers
just
hero
stop
ball.
running.
Yeah, and then their offensive line hasn't pass protect very well. Their receivers aren't very good. And I think Aaron Rodgers is another guy who's just kind of taking a step back. Like Tom Brady, you know, a step back for Aaron Rodgers is still better than a lot of quarterbacks currently in this league, but it's definitely
But guess what? I love to see it. And
Oh,
I'm
man,
here for it. Get
I
him
am.
out
I
of
am
here.
I'm
I am
over here.
sick
You
of
know,
this,
you see
man.
this? We're smoking the Packers.
It's
pack
Jordan
right now.
Love
We're-
season.
We're
Get
smoking that
him
Packers pack, man.
gone out of here.
Like we're
Oh,
smoking on the
man.
pack, man. I'm all for it. I love it. I hope he retires at the end of the year and it's Jordan Love season. I hope we get Jordan Love this year. I hope we're Green Bay's like, you know what? Matt Floyd's like, you know what? I don't care how much you're getting paid. We're going with the guy I drafted, Jordan Love, and you're gonna like it or not. And then
Yeah.
he just sticks up the joint. But yeah, that team is not good, man.
Nope.
Aaron Rodgers, and honestly, they really have never been. Aaron Rodgers just played at such a high level that it just covered up a lot of flaws that team.
Packers fans are spoiled, man. I'm
They are.
Yeah,
here
they'll be all
for
right.
it. Yeah.
Y'all be all
They'll
right.
be fine.
Enjoy Jordan. Enjoy Jordan. 3 years of Jordan Love before you draft a new quarterback.
I'm just hoping Jordan Love's not some sort of Aaron Rodgers.
I would be shocked. Listen. I'm not quarterback guru or all that, but just based on his college tape and what
And
short
preseason,
stuff he's done
yeah.
in the NFL, he looks god
Not
awful.
great. Yeah.
He looks god awful. So I would be shocked if there's just like this secret. Oh, sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. Sitting behind Brett Favre made the 24th overall quarterback.
Oh my god.
Look good. Yeah, but I just doubt it. Aaron Rodgers looked good in college. I think that's the biggest difference. Aaron Rodgers
That's
looked
true.
really good in
He
college.
was like a
Jordan
potential
Love
number
did
one
not.
pick.
Yeah, Jordan Love did not. Jordan Love was never in the conversation for the number one overall pick. So
Never.
yeah, Packers are mids. Ha ha. All I ask now is we beat them week 13.
You know who was in conversation for the number one overall pick at one point in their draft? Justin Fields. I mean,
Yes,
it wasn't
sir.
really a conversation. Trevor Lawrence was pretty unanimous for some reason, but Justin Fields was in that conversation, and he's looked
No,
good.
it wasn't.
No, he was in the
wasn't.
conversation for number 2 though.
It definitely
That's
wasn't.
Definitely not
No.
number 1 though. It's Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'll give him.
What?
Look, fast forward now 2 years or a year and a half.
Yes. Yeah. Looking at the Bears. First, before we talk about Fields, Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn were both just recently traded.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing to see Roquan go. Robert Quinn should have been traded in the offseason.
You guys are rebuilding though.
Well, yeah, we're rebuilding. We now have by far the most cap space in the NFL. We have 9 picks next draft. So I mean, other than Detroit, who we played in the last 4 weeks, the other 3 teams we play have a combined
stink,
2
too.
losses right now. That's quickly about Detroit. I told everyone that team was gonna be garbage.
That defense is cheeks.
Hard. Everyone's like, "Oh, Hard Knocks." Dan Campbell, he's so motivational. I'm like that. That team stinks.
Offense is fine.
That team
Offense is fine.
Stinks. Jared Goff is
Jared Goff.
mids.
Jared Goff is terrible on the road.
But Detroit is doing the right thing. Absolutely. They should 100% be tanking so they could draft their quarterback next year. And they are going to be, and probably fire Dan Campbell. And they're going to be significantly better in a couple of years once they get their quarterback. So I'm going to say, Detroit, you stink this year. Ha, ha, ha. But this is going to work out for y'all as long as you pick the right quarterback. Who that is, I don't know.
Quarterback.
They'd be dumb not to. But yeah.
They're gonna pick a receiver
Bears,
or something dumb.
Bears are rebuilding. As long as they're not the worst team in the league. Actually, I don't know. At this point, you could probably be the worst team in this league. The thing is, they have the best rushing offense in the league right now. And so that is gonna win you some games, especially when you play a team like Detroit, you're just gonna run all over, and they're gonna have no answer for that. They're probably gonna get a couple more wins and slide down into like the 6th or 7th spot in the first round. But it's okay. You know why? Because it looks like your quarterback is playing significantly better. Now he is getting a lot of help from the run game, and his legs are making significant plays.
Mhm.
But him throwing the ball has just been better week by week. They're not asking him to do too much because simply he can do too much. Receivers just struggle to get open. I still think he holds the ball a little too long, even though I thought he did a lot better at that this week against Dallas. I thought he got out a lot quicker. But yeah, man, I'm kind of excited to see what the Bears' future holds. I had to see how the draft and the offseason goes. It sucks to see Roquan go, but it was something that needed to happen. I hope they don't trade Eddie Jackson, man. Eddie Jackson's been balling. He's leading the league in picks.
I don't think they would be.
It's tough to watch your team in a rebuild year.
I don't know. Over the last few weeks, I've kind of, except for the Washington game, that was miserable to watch. I've kind of had fun watching this team play. The ups and downs.
What did I tell you?
So, like, even though they're bad, you can kind of watch them and kind of see like it's more of a talent issue than a coaching issue, and I like that. I kind of like because it's knowing going into the season that you just didn't have the talent, you were kind of expecting that, but you want the team to play competent, and a lot of times they play competent. Their rush defense did not play competent this last week. I have no idea what that was about. Like Robert Quinn,
Minnesota Vikings did though.
Robert Quinn should not have that much of an impact on the rush defense. But the Bears for the third week in a row put up 200 yards, which is something they hadn't done since the 60s. And I don't think that running attack, unless they trade David Montgomery, which is also on the table. We got probably about 24 hours till we figure out what happens with that.
Ooh, that'd be wild then, because Khalil Herbert's stock would shoot through the roof.
Yeah, Montgomery's a free agent after this year too, so
Well,
I
like,
would not be surprised.
Who's shopping for him? Nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I
mean,
don't know. David's a nice back.
Tampa Bay could use him to make a push because Leonard Fournette.
But he's trying to give the Bears some more picks. Get out of here.
Just because the Vikings and the NFC North, it might not be, but Philadelphia and Baltimore wants to give the Bears more picks. To please, everyone but Justin Fields should be on the table for the Bears. I'm gonna be honest.
Seattle would totally.
No, they have Kenneth Gainwell. I think they're solid.
Walker.
Maybe the Rams though could use them.
Kenneth Walker.
Gainwell is in Philadelphia. Rams could use him though. But yeah, man, it sucks to watch them go through a rebuild, but I kind of like the direction they're going. I still hope they win a couple more games, not too many, because they're not. They're not going to make the playoffs. Like
he said, I want to win a couple more.
Yeah,
but
I just really don't want them to be the worst team in the league. I don't know if I could really handle that.
You don't want the number one pick.
You just don't know what you want to do with the number one pick.
I want to trade. I would definitely trade back. First.
Okay.
They're not going to trade back though. They're going to get a big tackle.
Team. Will Anderson, I wouldn't be against if they kept it, but if any team that wants a quarterback comes calling, you definitely pick up that phone and answer and make that.
Who's the number one pick? Going to be a quarterback?
Depends on who's there.
It's going to be a quarterback or
be defense edge rusher
out of Alabama.
Yeah, it's going to be an edge rusher guy.
That's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, man, bear down. They lost to Dallas, but they did blow out New England on Monday Night Football. That was great to watch. I was in a hospital watching it, and I was just enjoying myself very much. And the rushing game is going to be great. Justin Fields is still going to be great. But I mean, it just kind of looks like there's a team running the NFC North right now. But I'm not even too upset because I picked this team to win the division anyway. So
I think we all did.
I mean, yeah, it was unanimous. So if they break the cross the plane curse with this one,
there's still plenty of time. I remember the Vikings starting 5-0 and missing the playoffs.
That's true. That's true.
This is a different team.
This is different.
Yeah. I think I've said this once or twice on here, but the biggest addition was the subtraction of Mike Zimmer. And I think I homered for a bit for a while too. And I'll admit that, but KOC is just welcome to the modern age of defensive scheme and offensive scheme. And it's funny because people were super angry about the defense to start the season, but I kind of kept telling people just give it some time, let it gel together, let people figure it out. Suddenly we have #1 rush defense and the league's sack leader. We've created pivotal turnovers to close out games in the fourth. We've been stout, and it's just funny that shell defense. Yeah, we'll let you do anything you want between the 20s, but in the red zone, you're not going to score 6. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
This 6-1 start.
There's two things I've noticed about the Vikings as a non-fan, as a mini hater. Two things I've noticed. One, they definitely look like they're playing with like more freedom. Like they just like it was just dark clouds in the Mike Zimmer era, and everything was you were wearing a chain and everything was super strict. Now it just kind of looks like it's sunshine and rainbows, and they look free and are having fun playing football.
Vibes.
So yeah, the vibes are definitely different. I think that is huge. I think that's huge for them. My only concern is that
the kicker.
Well, that's not even. I think Greg Joseph might be fine, but
no,
they have beaten a lot of mid teams. They only have one win against a team over 500, and that was Miami, who was on their third string quarterback, who then got hurt and they had to go back to their injured second string quarterback.
Who the Bears beat?
I'm not saying the Bears are gonna win the division.
The Niners.
So I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, yeah, they beat the Niners.
I hear your point.
So that's my only concern with the Vikings. That they just beaten a lot of mids. The one team they played that was great, blew them out. But
these teams are only mids because they had to play the Vikings, though. Otherwise, they'd be good, right?
No, Arizona.
They'd have a better.
Arizona was mids before the Vikings.
They would have a better record if they played
Green Bay
instead of the Vikings. Green Bay would have
a better record
if they didn't have to play the Vikings.
Week 2, my man.
That's what I'm saying. The only good team they played, Philadelphia, blew them out. And then it was just a bunch of mids. Miami with their third string quarterback and a backup.
I hear you. Now, the next 4 games, though, I think are kind of going to decide of what kind of a team we are. At Washington, I still want to call them a football team.
You're going to beat them
at noon. As it stands right now, at Buffalo at noon, I think that timing makes a massive difference.
Buffalo,
would we get
that's
Kirk in Buffalo? Would we get Kirk Cousins noon or Kirk Cousins prime time?
That's a no.
Yeah, I think there's a Vikings fan. There's not a single Vikings fan that's like, yeah, we can do that. We can get it.
Jake just said it. Jake says it's a dub. That's a no. But you'll be Washington.
Next loss is against the Patriots on Thanksgiving.
God, no.
Home against the Cowboys.
That's gonna be interesting. I think they could. I think they can win that one, and that'll probably be their. If
we lose
win that
two,
one, that'd be their
two
best
more
win
games the rest of the year,
and then home against the Patriots. Now, if we
Patriots
get through that,
we lose against the
Patriots.
We lose to the Patriots, and we
I don't
lose.
think.
They just got smacked by the Bears. You guys are gonna destroy the Patriots. They just got smacked by the Bears on Monday night in New England.
They just beat the Jets.
We just said the Jets are mid, so
the Vikings.
The Vikings are gonna. Those next 4, I would not be surprised if
it's a primetime game. It's a primetime game, so.
Yeah,
at home,
Thanksgiving.
It's at home.
But it's a primetime game.
Kirk's a family man. He knows all his family's gonna be watching. After
everyone's family is going to be watching.
So, Jake, you think Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi is going to walk into US Bank Stadium and walk out with the dog?
All right, this is what happens. The Vikings lose 2 more games the rest of the year.
To who? Buffalo?
No, the Patriots and then the Bears week 18 or whatever.
If you're beating Buffalo,
that's just because we're benching everyone and Kellen Mund's got to start.
Kellen Mund's not.
You mean Nick Mullins?
Nick Mullins.
I don't disagree with you. I also think that Bears will win that one, and that will also be the reason why they win it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. You get your toughest games are Giants and Cowboys. Other than Buffalo. At Buffalo,
we play both New York teams. We play all 3 New York teams.
at home,
At
except for
Buffalo,
the
just
Bills.
clearly the toughest game, and then it's just all very much winnable games. After other
Like
than that one.
we have a chance to truly go, 15-2, 16-1 if you pull one out in Buffalo.
You guys are not pulling one out in Buffalo.
Who knows? Who knows, man?
But yeah, man, that team's balling. I'm not gonna hate on it. I think they are. I
We'll
think
see.
I think the division is as close to a lock as you can get it right now. I
who's
just don't.
catching us?
I mean, yeah,
Marcel, I'm going to say this too.
between the Bears and the
If-
Packers, I think you're sitting fine.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this too. If the Eagles win or lose one more game between now and the end of the year, the Bears will lose that last game of the year because it might be for seeding purposes. But if they don't and go undefeated, yeah, you guys are winning that
Jesus
game.
Christ, we're talking about Vikings are gonna go 15-1 and no,
They'll
they'd be
go like
16,
14-3.
16-1 and be the 2 seed.
14-3.
And the Eagles 17-0 is the 1 seed.
That's the 1 seed. That'd be just the most hardest pill to swallow.
14-3, 2 seed.
I would agree with that if you told me they were gonna lose to Buffalo. But you just think they're gonna beat they might lose in Detroit. Like,
Lose to
you never know.
Buffalo. No, we go beat them in the regular season and lose to them in the Super Bowl.
That's just a homer. Anyway, that's the NFL. That's some NFL talk.
Homer.
I want to talk some NBA before we get out of here. Last show we did was our NBA prediction. Since then, we've had almost exactly 2 weeks of NBA basketball being played. So I'm going to ask for everyone to share both a positive overreaction from the first 2 weeks and a negative one from the first 2 weeks. And neither of them can be about the Timberwolves because we're also going to talk about the Timberwolves.
Positive overreaction. Giannis is the MVP. I was right. Nobody.
You're not wrong. Absolutely.
So it's my positive overreaction. I was right about that.
My positive overreaction is Danny Ainge and his unnecessary putting together a super team in Utah. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he was looking for victory, but they're a super team. I don't know what you want. They beat the Wolves. They're 5-2. They beat the Grizzlies twice now. I don't know what you want. That's how it goes. My negative overreaction is
wait. Can I share my positive?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My positive overreaction for the first 2 weeks is Paulo Banchero is going to be an all-star this year as a rookie.
I don't think that's.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, that kid can play. Let me tell you, it was kind of tough to pick a positive one because I still don't really believe in Utah or San Antonio, but I feel like that's.
I don't believe in those teams, but no. I say if anything, I say the Wizards, but then they let me down today. So
yeah, they lost today.
So
Marcel, that's funny because you left me a little speechless. Like, wait, I could see that.
I was just looking through and I was just like, well, there's nothing like too crazy that's positive. There's a lot of negative overreaction. Nothing too crazy positively though, like other than Utah and San Antonio.
Portland number 1's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's not gonna. I don't think that stays. Dame's hurt again, man. Like that's kind of concerning.
I think the Pelicans are gonna be gunning for that. They're gonna be the Grizzlies of last year.
That's not a bad prediction. I was only half a game behind them. Look at the standings.
Negative.
I would like to hear negative overreaction. I feel like there's a lot.
Lakers and the Nets stink. Both of them. They both stink.
I don't think that's an overreaction. Honestly.
I don't think that's an overreaction either.
I think that's a.
Nets barely beat the Pacers. Blew a 25-point lead and almost lost to the Pacers.
The Lakers stink.
Yeah, man, that team's garbage.
They can't even tank for Wembanyama. They don't have a pick.
Yeah, they have to. They have to keep trying to win too, man. They cannot give that pick to New Orleans.
No.
I think it's a swap, by the way.
It is a swap.
So they still have a first.
If New Orleans is like really good, like Memphis was last year, gets like the 27 pick. The Lakers get the lotto, hit it at like top 5. That would be hilarious.
Got Victor and Zion on the same team. Unfair.
Not saying they land the number 1 and get Victor, but even a top
or
5 pick.
Or Scooter.
The thing is the Lakers have to do well enough to make that pick swap not affect them.
I mean, they got to start winning games. Man. They beat Denver though. They finally got their first win, but yeah, they got to start winning games. What about you, Tristan? Give a negative overreaction.
My negative overreaction is the Warriors are cooked.
Ooh.
And they gave Jordan Poole all that money.
I'm not gonna lie.
For Draymond to walk. They're sitting 3-4.
You smoking dick.
I'm
not even gonna lie to you. I can't hop on that bandwagon.
No, that's fine.
It's way Talking too about early Jordan Poole just dropped 30 points, but I guess they lost to the Pistons. But
I don't know. Warriors are a weird team, man. When one of their big 3 sits out, they just struggle. Klay Thompson did not play the other night, and they lost to Detroit.
They're gonna beat good teams, and they're gonna lose to bad teams. It's whatever.
Here's a more realistic overreaction. The Heat are not who we think they are.
Where are they? Oh, they're 2-5. Wow. They are
after giving Tyler Hero all that money.
Tyler Hero is not great.
PJ Tucker can't be that big of a
Jimmy need to cut his hair, and
he did. He's not wearing it no more. Okay. Here is my
Kings are big too.
Here they just won tonight. They're coming.
Yeah, Kings are coming back.
They're at half. Not Kings. Clippers.
Okay, so here's my big overreaction.
Clippers.
It's about the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard does not play another game this year.
Oh.
I want. If I'm wrong, I would be much happier. This is looking like the same.
No, you're not wrong. I see that.
I could see him not playing another game this year. I don't know what's wrong. I do think it is a legit injury, and I feel like because he's so private, they're not going to say what's going on. I think there's a chance that knee is shot, and he is not going to play again this year. That would be awful. That would just be absolutely awful. I would not want to see that. I enjoy genuine downfalls, like bad chemistry and bad vibes in the locker room. I don't want to see players get injured and that ruin. Yeah, man. I want the best players to be healthy and see what we can get every year. But I don't know, man. It's just something off about this.
Okay. If he doesn't, what's their ceiling?
They could still be a playoff team, but I think they're back in the playoff.
They're playing with the Kings.
Yeah, I think they're back. I mean, my prediction was they were going to be a play-in team because I was very concerned about this team's health. And I am even more concerned because he's out for the next 6 games because of injury management. Mm-hmm. That is what they're saying. He's out for 6 more. He's already missed the last 3, and now he's out for 6 more because of injury management.
And he played in the preseason too. So
right, he played 2 games this year. And both, I think he came off the bench for both. I know he played in the Lakers game. Maybe he's only going to play against the Lakers. Maybe that's the game plan for them. They're like, hey, honestly, our championship is beating the Lakers every year, so we're just going to play you the 4 times we play them. Kawhi is probably just one of the weirdest dudes in the league after Kyrie Irving. And I think this whole them being quiet about it is just super weird. Injury man, this is the same thing San Antonio was doing when he played 9 games that one year. He just played every once in a while, and then he was out. He had a rehab. Something went wrong, setback, but there was nothing ever concrete or told of what was going on. That his circle is super quiet and private. I don't know. I'm just saying. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm just totally overreacting. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we don't see Kawhi. All right, now speaking of overreactions.
Speaking of
overreaction, man, the Timberwolves are the worst team in basketball.
Trade everybody. Move on from Cat.
Move on from D'Lo. It's time to trade Cat. The Rudy Gobert trade was terrible.
We lost the trade.
Ant's not that guy. Like,
nope.
I don't know. So personally, my opinion on the Timberwolves is I still feel a lot better about this team than I did about the team at the beginning of last year. That team last year just drove me insane, especially at the beginning. It's really until, like I said, until January. That team just drove me absolutely batshit crazy. This team, on the other hand, just watching them, it kind of feels like, you know, there are very much more fixable things for this team than there were for last year's team. Now, they did end up fixing a lot of issues from last year, and that's why they ended up being good. But just watching them this year, it's kind of like, yeah, I wish that was a little better, but I still think that could get cleaned up over time. If there is one thing I'm concerned about is that the Wolves rebounding when one of Towns and Gobert is not on the court, it's just awful. It is just awful. It really just feels like Cat, Gobert, and Ant are the only three guys who even try to rebound the ball. And everyone else that's on the court just doesn't even put in effort. Doesn't box out. Ant doesn't really box out either. He just is super athletic and can go get the ball sometimes. But they just don't box out. And that still bugs me, man. Because Rudy is supposed to tremendously help with that. And but man, if the other guys just have to get Jaden McDaniels, especially, man, being 6'11", come on, dude, you gotta be able to grab more rebounds.
But he can't box out. He's
so
a twig.
Small. Yeah, he's so small, man. He needs to put on some weight. But I think that's
we played the Lakers. LeBron just tossed him like goddamn. It's like a feather.
I know.
He moved him like he was his son.
And so yeah, if there's anything about the Wolves right now that I am just like, oh, I wish that was better. It's definitely the rebounding when one of them is not on the court. But I mean, I truly don't think they're they're still above 500. They were not above 500 at this point last year. I know everyone's like, oh, but look who they played. But as of right now, all but the Lakers are either 500 or better, every team they played. And they beat the Thunder twice. They beat San Antonio, and then of course they beat the Lakers. And they lost to San Antonio twice, and lost to a Utah Jazz team that's currently 6-2, who just beat Memphis tonight.
At 20.
This is exactly what I was thought, though. It's gonna take a little bit of time. We're gonna get really hot during the middle of the year.
Yeah,
this
man.
Is my prediction.
Yeah, they're all still learning, getting together. Like I said, it took till January for last year's team. I mean, we're still an hour away from November, so.
But it does have it reminds me of old Wolves teams where we still kind of have the same sort of problems, like we can't rebound, but on the offensive boards have been great. Jaden McDaniels' offensive boards has been a lot better than defensive. Same with Rudy Gobert.
I love it.
I got 4 things for you guys from my early season outlook on the Wolves. 1, relax. We're still an hour away from November. The season's 2 weeks in. Let's see what we can do. This team's going to need time. 2, which leads me to this point. Chris Finch wouldn't lie to us when he said in preseason training camp that it's going to be clunky and ugly at times to start. We've seen it. Come on now. And I'd rather be clunky and ugly in October and November so we can be nice and crisp in March and April against better teams.
And just to add on to that, he said this last year. I don't know if he has said it this year. Usually they install defensive concepts first and then offensive concepts. So usually the defense is ahead of the offense at the beginning of the year. And that's what we have seen this year with the Wolves having the 5th best defense and the 22nd best offense. And plus they're playing 2 different defensive schemes this year. Dropping Rudy's on the court, which the other Wolves players are not good at. Thank God
Cat is not good at it.
Yeah. Rudy is so good at it. He kind of just saves face for everyone else. And then they do the high wall when he's not on the court, which just seems to work a lot better for the rest of those guys.
It does.
But
3.
Yeah, defense is better ahead of the offense.
Rudy is everything is advertised, and honestly, a little bit more. I've seen a little more animated and willing to pass Rudy Gobert than I did in any of the highlights that I watched or any of the Jazz Wolves matchups. He's just looks more ebb and flow of an offense where he's more used as the focal point. I mean, he had a 20-20 game the other night. He's had a double-double, I think, in every game but one. I think.
Cat's getting all his assists to Rudy.
Cat's going to have a triple-double this year because of that, man. You heard it here first.
I also think it's just insane that Cat has been by far the best at finding Rudy Gobert on those lobs. D'Lo struggled. Ant has struggled. Jordan McLaughlin even has struggled. Cat's like nailed it almost every time. Even Rudy said it. It's like, oh no, Cat's throwing me a perfect pass every time but one.
And then 4, I think Wolves fans suffered from the falling in love with the underdog mentality, and we have to out hustle teams and out hustle dudes to win games every night. When in reality, we're the favorite. We need to start acting and playing as such. And I think with time, everything will start to click and find itself because we were really bad to start. We found some old receipts, and I was calling for A-Rod to move him over to Seattle.
Man, we have shows with you calling.
Yeah.
We have there are receipts.
There are receipts all over Spotify with you saying
that. RELAX, man. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I mean, I just think like the overreaction was insane because this team is still playing a lot better than the team. Like last year, New Orleans lost 12 of their first 13 games, and we were their one win. And then we lost to Orlando at home by just getting absolutely out hustled like crazy in the fourth quarter. Like, yeah, last year's team was just so much more frustrating than this year's team. And that's why I'm just kind of confused. Like, why are we overreacting? Oh, because San Antonio and Utah decided they're gonna be better than what everyone thought. Like, I honestly, you're better off. Them. Yeah, you're better off playing them now because I mean you're gonna play them all again later in the season.
No, it's a little bit to do with the same old Wolves type of stuff. Like the third quarter comes around and we just let our halftime lead disappear.
That is true.
In 2 seconds. So it's just like, but that's the disappointing part, I would say. Is that we didn't seem to fix issues that have been lingering.
That is true, but I will say they have, other than this last San Antonio game, they ended the third quarter really well. They have improved as they moved on, especially since that first San Antonio's game. They have just kind of gradually improved in the third quarter. I don't know what their net rating now is in the third. It's probably still not good because they're still not great in the third quarter. But they are one of the best teams in the fourth quarter and one of the best teams in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So those are two really good things. But yeah, you do got to come
dead last in the third.
You got to come out of half better than that. But they have
dead last
gradually gotten better, and they tend to end third quarters really well. I get this team. We thought last year's team was weird. I think this team is just going to be just as weird, but they're just going to be better weird.
Well, if we can win a playoff series, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I know, because we're going to get swept by Orlando, and everyone's going to be like, "Why can't we beat Orlando?" And then like I said we were going to. They play Orlando this month, and they play Memphis twice. They're going to win both Memphis games and lose to Orlando. I'm calling it now. I'm calling it right now.
That's your call.
But yeah, man. There's no reason to panic about the Wolves yet. The Wolves back. They have a winning record, man. They have a winning record. They play their first playoff contender tomorrow, Tuesday. Again, even though they've only faced one team that is below 500, and that's the Lakers, and they've beaten 4 of them. They beaten 3 of them because they also beat the bums that are the Lakers. We were chanting 0-5 at their team. 0-5.
LeBron doesn't deserve that.
No, free Bron.
But that's what they get for wearing them. Free Bron. That's what they get for wearing the Minneapolis Lakers jerseys. Debuting there.
Disrespectful.
Yeah. Screw that team.
Let's get out of here.
Free Bron, though.
Free Bron, man.
Well, I'm Marcel. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at @Styles_RapidLife. I'm talking Wolves and I'm talking Bears, and both of them are, they are who they are. But hey, man, I'm gonna ride with them. I'm gonna ride with them till I die. I'm super excited. And whoever your favorite team is, if it's not those two, they're trash. So make sure you give me a follow.
I'm Tristan. You can find me on Twitter at @TradeIddy_19. Come talk some trash. Vikings Twitter has been lit and hilarious and ridiculous. All of the above. You know how it goes. There's people calling to trade Danielle Hunter, but it doesn't make sense because how do you think Za'Darius is having a great year? You tell me. Let's find out next week on Across the Plane.
Jake the Rookie, THA, just like across the plane. Follow all of those on social media. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week. Peace.
Also, NFL trade deadline is Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, so we might have a bunch of NFL news to talk about, even though the NFL trade deadline, I think, is not as exciting as the NBA trade deadline.
Also, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Peace.